Hi, everybody. I've got Emma Baker, broker with Clairwood Real Estate Corporation Brokerage in Collingwood with us today, and we're discussing the places that baby boomers can move when they're retiring and trying to figure out where they're going to go. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges for baby boomers in the city. They've been here for 30 years. They've owned a family home, raised their kids, had a career. Now they're thinking about what's next. And so Emma's with us today to just talk about Collingwood and Southern Georgian Bay as a place to move. So how's the market doing up in your area? And maybe tell us a little bit about yourself as well, Emma.
Oh, hi. Yes, I'm Emma Baker. I'm married with two teenage children and a couple of dogs. I moved here from England nearly 15 years ago, and I've been in real estate full-time since 2006. We've been finding ourselves in a really busy market up in the Southern Georgian Bay area, and we specialise in our brokerage in the western region, which is Collingwood, Blue Mountains, Grey Highlands, Clearview, Wasaga and Meaford. And the hotspots in there really are Collingwood and the Blue Mountains. So in the last couple of years, we've seen a massive boom in people moving here from the city. We've seen a massive boom in development, not just in the condo market, but in the single family homes as well. We've also noticed a lot of people that had weekend homes here are transitioning to full-time residences, and often they're getting rid of their cottage and they're moving to the Collingwood Blue Mountain area to consolidate their weekend properties. So they don't have a ski home anymore, they don't have a cottage, they have one place which they use probably most of the year now. Right. And in terms of the market, the prices have been increasing year on year. Obviously this spring we've had a bit of a slowdown, and in fact April has dropped dramatically, and we've seen a 65% reduction in sales from April to March, which has hit the market quite hard. But it's interesting because that hasn't actually affected the average sales price up here. In fact, year to date, it's actually gone up by 8.2% to 589,000.
Wow.
So, the price for April over April last year has gone down, but the average price year to date has gone up.
Wow.
And that's quite kind of interesting. So we're seeing a lot of people expecting to get a deal up in the market up here. And I'm afraid I don't see that happening unless people have to start dumping their investment properties because they can't rent them short term.
Right.
But I in the short term, I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
And it depends, how the market picks up.
So what's the draw for baby boomers that are thinking about moving out of Mississauga or the GTA and moving up to Collingwood?
I think the biggest thing is the product that we offer. So in terms of housing, there's a huge variety, right from condos from $300,000 to waterfronts for $3 million. And there's a lot of new product, not just in the downtown areas, but in the areas such as Wasaga, Stayner, and even as far out as Meaford and way out in Markdale. And the area has so much to offer, and it's really become a huge four-season resort, right from biking, hiking, skiing, snowmobiling, snowshoeing. There is everything up here. Right. People can take their paddle boards out in the bay one day and be hiking the mountain in the afternoon. Right. It's crazy.
Right. So when it comes to the amenities that are in the South Georgia Bay and Collingwood area for baby boomers, what are the amenities that draw people there?
Our hospitals are pretty good. Collingwood and General Marine is fabulous. They're building a new hospital. There's a fair amount of work coming to this area. If you look in Markdale, for instance, we have Chapman's Ice Cream Factory, and they're building a brand new hospital out there too. Right. We have a ton of grocery stores, a new Foodland in Markdale, new Foodland in Thornbury. And the whole area is actually booming in terms of the people moving up here and building businesses. So we have wineries. Okay, so up here there's lots of amenities. You know, if you're moving up here and you're looking for a part-time job, we have a huge tourist industry. Blue Mountain, for instance, recruit winter and summer, both part-time and full-time. And we have lots of stores, and we have lots of seasonal attractions, such as wineries that employ people. We have lots of things for people to do. They can do wine tours, they can cycle and hike the Bruce Trail, they can climb the Beaver Valley, they can go and hike around Old Baldy, they can get their paddle boards out in the bay. It's just amazing. If you're bored up in this area, then you are not looking or interested in doing anything. There is no excuse.
Yeah.
We have cycling trails. I mean, seriously, when people say to me, well, we want to come and live there, but we think we're going to be bored. I have retirees that say, truthfully, they are busier now than they've ever been. They join Probus clubs, they join networking groups, such as I'm a member of the BNI. They start growing a lot more produce up here. You know, we have the space, and a lot of people like the outdoors and they're out there gardening. I've just set up my own tower garden actually to produce my own produce for the summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot of things for people to do, and there's
I've heard that Collingwood. I've heard that Collingwood and South Georgian Bay are very welcoming to newcomers. That people feel comfortable moving up there, and feel welcome because there's so many new people in the area as well. And service.
There are. I mean.
Yeah.
We've seen a huge influx of people, both from out of country and from out of the area, primarily the GTA.
Right.
And it's interesting how they've integrated. And I meet people every day that are new to the area. And like I say, they join a lot of the local clubs. They play mahjong. They play pickleball. I've never even heard of pickleball till I moved to Canada. And a lot of the condo facilities have a lot of clubs for tennis, for pickleball, for golf, etc. So if you live in one of the condo communities or even one of the newer developments, you'll often find that people like-minded will get together and they will start socializing with dinner clubs and hiking clubs and walking clubs and paddleboarding clubs. There's also a ton of gyms and exercise facilities up here that offer amazing classes, right from hot yoga to spin cycling clubs and what's the Macho Man stuff. That's really big up here.
Oh, okay. The gym set. So Emma, when it comes to the types of housing available and the different communities available for people that are thinking about downsizing and retiring in the Collingwood area, can you describe a little bit about the different communities and what kind of housing and what it costs to move to those areas and what's kind of uniquely different about them?
Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of new homes being built in the area, and obviously there's a push for higher density. So we're seeing a lot of townhomes in Collingwood, Stayner, Wasaga area, and you're looking at the low 400s for entry-level housing there. Then we are seeing single-family detached on those same subdivisions, and they can be anywhere up to the high 60s. If you want some more privacy and you want to move out a little bit, then you can move out further into Clearview. You can move out into the Beaver Valley, Grey Highlands, even some parts of Collingwood. I live in actually Nottawa, where you can get, for around $1 million, you'll get a half-acre lot with a decent-sized house. And out nearer to the ski areas, such as Beaver Valley and the Grey Highland, you're going to get a lot more chalets. And you're looking probably in the 600-700 range for a decent-sized property with an older-sized home.
Right.
What found though is that because a lot of people want to be in the main towns, the prices are being pushed up, so people are migrating out. So Collingwood and Stayner, you will see more product under the $500,000 mark, and you'll see single family bungalows with double car garages, finished basements on older subdivisions under that 500,000 mark, which, and that's why Wasega's actually been busier in the last couple of months than other areas.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
Right. So is there more building going on out in Wasaga Beach area as far as new builds?
Yes, so what they did is on the border between Wasaga and Stayner, they serviced that area. So we're seeing a lot of homes go up, a couple of thousand homes in Stayner and Wasaga.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a similar thing in the Blue Mountains where they've serviced. So it's interesting. So you're seeing a lot of people moving up here, but they don't necessarily want to be in Collingwood or Blue Mountain because of the higher prices.
Right.
And they're happy to live on the periphery because it's a much easier commute to the city should they need to go back for family or for work.
Right, sure. And I bet there's
very interesting.
I'll bet there's different communities there with their own unique character. Like if you're into like Markdale, you've got your own community in Markdale, or or Meaford if you're on the outskirts, or certainly Wasaga, or Thornbury.
Yeah, you're correct, and there's varied demographics within those communities. So we're not just seeing the empty nesters and retirees, we're seeing a lot of families. So when people move up here, they're going to be mixed with a lot of different age groups, which I think is really important. And it keeps the subdivisions quite balanced.
Right.
The younger people, the younger families tend to move into the townhomes. Mm-hmm. We see some of those being bought by investors who want to rent them out. Right. And for $425,000 townhome, you're going to get about $2,200–2,300 of annual rental. So they're quite attractive to investors to the area.
Right.
And in terms of the bungalows, bungalofts, and the single family detached in the kind of 600 range, you're seeing more of the empty nesters and retirees that still want the extra bedrooms to have their families come up and live with them, for the weekends, because there's so much to do in terms of the amenities up here.
Yeah, it's a good draw for family, right? I mean, if you're gonna move out of the city, you want to have a draw so that your kids and would want to come up to see you. So Emma, when it comes to things to do in Collingwood, can you tell me a little bit about the beaches and kind of the summer activities that people would enjoy on the lake?
So we have some fantastic freshwater sand beaches in Wasaga. There are some that have play equipment for children, and some of the quieter beaches, or you can go right down to Beach 1 and be amongst lots of people, lots of youngsters enjoying all the jet skis and amongst all the shops and the tourist shenanigans. So it's really varied. And then if you come further into Collingwood and Thornbury, you don't have so much sand. You have more stony waterfront.
The shale, flat shale rock.
More shale. Yeah. But they're still fabulous because you can walk far out on the shale and you can see it. Yeah. So it's great for kayaking and paddleboarding. A lot of people take their kayaks and paddleboards out from the harbours in Collingwood and behind the living water resorts. Yeah. So it's truly beautiful.
Yeah. Now, I, for one, am a boater. Can you tell me a little bit about the marinas, or kind of what's available for boaters?
Yeah, we have public marinas in Collingwood and Thornbury for sure. We also have a lot of marinas associated with developments. So you'll find marinas at Lighthouse Point and Blue Shores, for instance. So if you want to live somewhere and have your boat or your canoe permanently 2 minutes away from you, then they would be ideal. And they've always got vacancies and deep water access, which is phenomenal.
Right. Wow, that's awesome. How about golf courses? And can you tell us a little about other kinds of, summer activities for people that are looking for things to do when they retire?
So we have an amazing array of golf courses, both private and public up here. and some of them are pay to play, and some of them are more elite, such as the Georgian Bay Club, and that has spectacular views of Georgian Bay. It's just stunning. We have the hiking and walking trails, both the public ones and the Bruce Trail ones. We also have a lot of activities up at Blue Mountain, such as zip lining, Segway tours, cycle tours. There's just tons of things to do. Yeah. And there are a lot of avid cyclists and cycling clubs and races if you are a true cyclist. Right. You know, the hills and the views that you can do touring around the Grey Highlands are just amazing. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and I hear there's a casino going in as well in Wasaga. Yep, so it's right on the edge of Wasaga and the Collingwood border, and they stopped temporarily, but they've carried on digging now. Okay. So that will bring a lot of work to the area, right. And it should bring lots of shows, right? Which will be great. And I'm assuming at some point they'll put a couple more hotels in. Right. There's a new Holiday Inn going in Collingwood with a couple of new restaurants. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing a couple of new waterfront developments being slated for the downtown area of Collingwood near the terminals. Right. With high-end apartment style buildings. Right. So if you want to be on the waterfront down here right now, there's pricing of around $1 million, $1.2 million. Okay. You are a decent 1,800 square foot waterfront property, condo, of course. A townhome? A townhome style? Normally apartment style. Okay. We're seeing a lot of one-level apartments going in blocks of 3 or 4 stories, such as Wildwood Cove. That's a new one, and they appeal to empty nesters, being one-level living, and they have a full year-round outdoor pool and access to the water. Right. Okay. So it's very attractive. Yeah. Nice. Awesome. So Emma, so what's the next step if somebody is thinking of Collingwood as a destination and you know, they want to get out of the city? What's the next step that they would take to figure out where they're going there? A lot of people, they would come up for a day trip and they would drive around the areas and they would start looking at some of the property that's available. But I would always suggest contacting someone like me because what we can do is we can have a chat with you in advance and look at your specific needs. Are you going to be looking for somewhere that is just for you, or are you looking for something that you can accommodate your family? Or do you want to be on the waterfront, or do you want to have somewhere that you can rent out for the season? So if you start with a knowledgeable realtor that knows the area really well, they can ascertain your needs and your requirements. And from that, and obviously your price point, then obviously we can build a needs and wants list. And from that, we can point you in the right areas that you might want to start your search for a property. Right. Awesome. And I suppose as well that you could get onto like one of the automated searches as well, so that you can start having a look at online at properties as well. Yes, so we can set up a search, so you would have access to daily listings, and we can also set you up on a search for any exclusive listings that we know are coming up in our office. In some of the hotspot areas, they don't always go on MLS. They sometimes are sold before they hit MLS. So it's always good to be tapping into a local real estate agent that has access to everything that's going to hit the market and not always publicly hit the market. Right, right. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks very much, Emma. That was really informative. And there just seems to be a lot of the Mississauga and the GTA baby boomers that are really looking at other options and where they're going to go. And this has been really helpful. So thank you very much. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. Take care. Thank you.